What is going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Palantir. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really caused it to go up as high as it did, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Palantir did close 1.49% in the green after hours, extending that slightly, 0.56%, but it did have a high of $29.83. So I want to break it down on why it bounced off of this and what ultimately caused it. Starting off, there was no official news from Palantir, no SEC filings, nothing like that. It largely did get dragged down by the broader market, so there's a lot of different fears floating around, but nonetheless, despite the data that's been coming out, which today was initial jobless claims, it didn't really affect the optimism associated to future rate cuts. More specifically, the September 18th meeting, so a 93.5% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut, and that is followed by on November 7th another 25 basis point cut of 56.1% of a likelihood. So yeah, back-to-back rate cuts is definitely going to fuel the broader market as what it has been, but once this does come to fruition, then you're going to see a very big rotation into Palantir, many other growth stocks and equities as a whole. So I kind of brought that up in my last video, and I did say essentially that's how it could reach $50. I know that kind of does sound crazy, but if you think about what happened in 2021, transitioning from 2020 to 2021, everything went up. So in case you guys weren't investing in the market at that stage in the game, if we zoom out over this last, for instance, 5 years, everything and their dog was up. So you can kind of just see from my random watch list, every single stock was at higher highs. So that is kind of what happens when you have a injection of capital. But nonetheless, though, that won't be happening anytime soon. It would be slow and steady over basically a 1 year time span. But speaking of $50, you did have right here the most bullish analyst on Palantir, so Dan Ives, did say that the bull case is around $50. I think a lot of people are just saying that a $50 price target was given. I was kind of questioning that because I didn't really understand where people were getting $50 until I actually listened to this video. Roughly about 2 minutes in, that's where he does say a bull case of $50, but he did ultimately reiterate his $35 rating. So that did come out yesterday, so this is why I was kind of confused why some people are saying 50 when in fact it is 35. So I'm going to play that 2-minute kind of part in the video and go over why he feels it could go to $50, which is a little bit different than my viewpoint. But there has been several other ratings coming out, so all done yesterday. $20 sell, $22 sell. Mizuho, Greg, who has a 58% success rating. Morgan Stanley, Keith, who has a 65% success rating. Then Daniel Ives, 56. So it's kind of crazy. Normally, when it comes to a growth stock, when you get a negative rating, it causes a little bit more of a downtrend, especially a full-on downgrade, right? So Palantir is different. Palantir seems to be like Wall Street very much values Daniel Ives's ratings. So it's kind of a backwards mentality. So this is why I've said in the past that Palantir, based on the technicals and many other points, is poised to go up. Right now, while I'm actually on here, I'll give you guys an overview of the Elliott Wave technicals and what it's truly saying right now. So it does have a pivot point of $25.30. So for as long as Palantir is above that, which right now it is, then it is anticipated to get to that 32.40 and 33.70, between that range. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But ultimately, that is what drove it a little bit higher today. But what caused it to go down and bounce off of that general area was linked to the technicals. So with it closing at $28.64, it is trading between this R2 and this R3, as it has been over the last several trading days. But the high today was $29.83, so new 52-week high, but it bounced off of this R3. So all in all, that is why. So it didn't really have enough to really get above that. So a lot of Daniel Ives's ratings and just analysis has really caused Palantir to go high, but not really enough to kind of stick there, if that makes sense. So 27.74 is a very strong support, which ultimately wasn't tested today, so that's kind of a positive thing. So going into the next several trading days, assuming the broader market doesn't kind of pull back extensively, then you will see a retest of this R3. So as I've stated, based on the short term, Palantir should easily be hitting around $35 as my kind of estimate. By next year, I do feel $50 is kind of achievable, not based on what Daniel Ives is saying, more so to do with a broader rotation into equities. That's just my viewpoint. Going over some data points, shorts did return 1.72 million shares, 4.14% of the free float is being shorted, 79.72 million shares overall are being shorted, and then cost of our average is 0.56%. Just for transparency, as I say every single Palantir video, I'm bringing this up more so for analysis purposes, not because Palantir is a squeeze play. So kind of just be aware of that. But a lot of money is still getting into Palantir through options. 72 million in calls today, 15 in puts. 49% of all the options being done so far today, or I guess the market's closed, so 49% all done today was optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that were being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above, looks like around $31 by the end of this week. So a very nice recovery potentially tomorrow, but looking at puts though, you do see a consensus for it to be sub roughly 28.50 by the end of next week. So you do see a little bit more upside when it comes down to the risk versus reward. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So overall, a fairly nice continuation of institutions paying attention to it. So a couple big ones, so 2.84 million. You saw a lot of buying that did happen. That was basically driving it as high as it did right here. And then, like I said, it kind of bounced off of that resistance point, pulled it down, and then the market kind of just took it down right here, which I do believe was based off of that Fed speaker, Logan or whatever else. But regardless, at this stage in the game, I think still bigger and better things are coming. Higher percentile of the boiling band, stochastic, you do see a bearish deviation, but it is at 81, so still considered rather overbought. Nothing wrong with that, and even if it does pull down, still generally good stuff for consolidation purposes. And right now here you do see number of retail investors have been slowly getting out, taking profits or whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on Palantir. Like I mentioned, I'm just going to quickly play this clip, 2 minutes of that, and it goes over why he feels $50 is achievable and everything else.
Yeah, Josh, the AI revolution's here. And when I look at the next step, the use cases, Palantir, I think, is going to really be the one that's front and center in a lot of these deals. And we're seeing that through a lot of these cloud channels, a lot of the work we do in boot camps. Investors, look, if you've seen, they're negative at 6, they hate it at 12, despise it at 18, and screaming at 25. And I think that this is a stock that has a massive move ahead of it, given where the AI revolution is heading. That's why it's the Messi of AI.
I was curious, Dan, reading your note, what had changed or what different information that you had to take you to that bull case? Because it looks similar to the case that you had made before for the stock. So was there more data that you were gathering to get you to 50 here?
Yeah, Julia, it's just in the almost 100 customers that we've spoke with, the conviction level is increasing. I think deals accelerating. And I think what we're seeing on AIP, conversion is even stronger than we expected. Now, does that mean for this quarter, for next quarter? But when I look out the next 6, 12 months on Palantir, I think this is going to be a golden child of AI. And right now, I mean, institutionally speaking, it's very negative because I think many don't understand or appreciate the true, what I view as the competitive moat that Karp and Palantir built.
What, it was interesting, Dan. I was talking not too long ago with Brent Till over at Jefferies and covers Palantir, and he was encouraged by what he saw in Palantir's business and fundamentals, but he was staying on the sidelines, and it was a valuation call. He just thought it looked pricey, but you don't share those concerns here.
Josh, I get the valuation argument, but it's very similar to how I viewed Microsoft and Apple and Tesla and so many other names, that you have to view it as a sum of the parts. You got to view it on what's the commercial business worth, what is AIP going to drive, and then put some multiple in the government business. And I think when you start to put those together, I mean, you could start, 35 is our base case. but then you start to get to a bull case $50 into next year as this goes to the second, third, fourth derivative. And I don't know.
So yeah, there you have it. So ultimately he's basing his $50 bull case scenario on just, I guess, talking to customers, conviction levels and stuff like that. So this is where I kind of have a problem with that, because just in 2024 alone, a lot of stocks, semis more specifically, have ran up like 100 something percent, right? So for him to say that Palantir is going to be a golden child and only assume possibly 80%, I kind of don't really feel that's the bull case, like extreme bull case. Like I said, a little bit different mentality from my viewpoint, so I'm not really talking more about the operational updates. I'm more talking about broader kind of situations that is going to affect just the whole market. So once again, let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling, what have you been doing with Palantir. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.